Hello and welcome to this tutorial on lazy loading a feature module in Angular. On your screen is the core concept of lazy loading in Angular using the roots configuration. Notice the load children property. Here, we define a function that returns a dynamic import of the feature module. The import call is asynchronous and returns a promise. Angular's router will load this module only when the user navigates to the path feature. This significantly improves our initial load performance, as the code for the feature module is not loaded until it's actually needed. As we proceed, look at the feature module configuration. It is a typical ing module decorated class but with a slight difference in the imports. We use router module for child instead of router module for root because this module is not our root app module, but a child that's being loaded lazily. The forChild method links the feature module's roots to the main application roots. These child roots are defined in a variable feature roots, which we need to create in the same file to encapsulate all of the roots for this particular feature. Let's go ahead and define these child roots. The feature roots array contains the roots specific to the feature module. The first root with path set to an empty string represents the default root for this module. Here, we need to have components, such as feature home component, that'll be loaded when the empty path is activated. We can also define more roots, like the detail path, which will load the feature detail component. Each roots component will be displayed when the application's URL matches the specified path. Alternatively, for better code readability and reusability, we can extract the lazy loading function into a separate function outside of the roots array. Here, we define load feature module that simply wraps the dynamic import logic we saw earlier. This function can be used in the load children property, improving our code organization and making it easier to write unit tests for the root configurations. With the load feature module function defined, we can now simplify our root configuration by passing this function to the load children property. Angular will invoke this function when the feature path is activated and thereby load the feature module only at that time. This restructured approach has the same lazy loading effect, but with the added benefit of cleaner and more modular code. Finally, let's revisit our feature module. Well, add the declarations of the components that are a part of this module, like feature home component and feature detail component. It's also essential that any Angular built-in modules that our components rely on are imported, such as common module. This module gives us access to common directives like ngif and ngfor. Once those are in place, we have a fully operational feature module that's ready to be loaded lazily by the Angular app.